Yo everybody, what's going on? This is Keegan from Kman Reviews. If you enjoy this review, make sure you hit that like and the subscribe button, and if you have any opinions at all you would like to share, leave them down in the comment section. Shooter Jennings, put the O back in country. Shooter Jennings, American country singer, songwriter, the son of outlaw country icon Waylon Jennings. I have already mentioned Shooter in my previous viewer suggestion of his sophomore album, Electric Rodeo, which if you're curious, there will be a link in the corner for you to go check that out. The rockier style of that sophomore album was very welcome in modern country, but for this album we're taking it back a year with his debut album, Put the O Back in Country. Always happy to be covering genres out of my preferred lane, and knowing that I did enjoy Electric Rodeo, I had high hopes going into this album. So just what do I think about Put the O Back in Country? Let's find out as I review this album track by track. We'll start off with the singles, with there only being one official single, with that being 4th of July / He Stopped Loving Her Tonight, which is a really nice, barn-burning, danceable track. Very solid drum groove all around and rough and tough guitar, harken back to the outlaw roots of his family. Shooter's voice is also very enjoyable, kind of on that fine line between rougher, more southern twang and a cleaner, more conservative vocal inflection. Also, gotta love hearing George Jones come in for the outro. Even if it is a little bit out of the blue, it's a nice feature regardless. Good guitar solo to boot, and lyrics about reminiscing about these happy days in a relationship. It's a good track, very fun, bouncy, seems like it'd be great for a nice get-together. Now for the rest of the tracks. The opener and title song, Put the O Back in Country, opens up with the voice of George Jones introducing Shooter and the album. The instrumental kicks in afterwards, and I swear I've heard this exact same instrumental on one of the other country albums I've reviewed. Not that that's a bad thing at all, it's actually a very effective instrumental with its satisfying drum taps and the mostly shrill guitar playing. Not to mention the cutouts when the title is being sung, very cliche and typical, and it also has this weird live effect to it. There are these claps, cheers like he's performing in front of a crowd. As much as it is generic, I think it's fun. Good song. Lonesome Blues is a much more chill song, and I can absolutely get behind this. Really just a calm acoustic guitar strumming and a light, airy drum, pretty soothing, relaxing when paired with Shooter's vocals, harnessing the cleaner element of them, especially on the chorus when he gets into some harmonizing with the quivering note holds. There really isn't too much else here, just a soft acoustic country song about being alone in life but calling it free and accepting the fact that his journey could end at any time. It's simple. Good song. Solid Country Gold, as the title would suggest, is a pretty solid track. It's on the verge of being a bit more of an upbeat song, but it's held back by some aspects that make it acoustic, mainly the guitar strumming that feels calm, gentle, but the drum work has a powerful thump, and Shooter's vocals are also a lot more lively. This chorus is very comforting, very dreamy rhythm, even if it is a build-up from the verses. While I do think it could have been longer, maybe a bridge instead of the minor guitar solo and repeated chorus, it's still nice to listen to. Good song. Bustin in Baylor County is a track I feel like I should like a lot more. It has a really invigorating energy, which I do love when it comes to tracks like these, but this instrumental is just kinda hit or miss in my opinion. I love the fiddle playing, the guitar and banjo work, but the rapid slapping of the drums feels very out of tune, especially with how Shooter is delivering this track vocally. I really like the spoken word with a slight melodic effect. It definitely reminds me of Little White Lines from Electric Rodeo with this whole style, and I'm not feeling it as much as I would like to, so I'll pass here. Sweet Savannah is a much more relaxed, gentle ballad opening with the melancholic guitar plucking. Shooter's vocals during this part aren't the most appropriate in my opinion. He sounds kind of weirdly intoxicated, slurring his words a bit more, like this is just some kind of weird outtake that shouldn't have seen the light of day. Despite that, he holds rhythm pretty well. It sounds emotionally exhausting to him, as he sings about putting this broken relationship to rest, leave the past behind. Followed up by some gorgeous string work, and I'm sure this song will warm up to me more. Good song. Steady at the Wheel strays away from the country element of this album and dives into a hard rock jam. The main factor here being this kick-ass guitar riff. It's gritty, it's rough, it's electric, and massive props for delivering a guitar solo. Shooter's vocals here are also pretty solid, trying to separate from country tropes with a louder vocal tone. It's a nice twist up and doesn't feel all that awkward as a genre change in comparison to the rest of the LP. And lyrically, it's about not losing focus, staying steady at the wheel. Great song, check this one out. Manifesto number 1, a prequel to Manifesto number 2 off Electric Rodeo, which definitely feels like a lot more of a true song than its successor. which, if you remember, I thought sounded a lot more like an interlude. But this track feels a lot more complete. It has this intro, which has this nostalgic echoed effect, and then the song kicks in. It features a thumping rhythm, and it's just so infectious, as there's also another great guitar solo. It has a nice country authenticity to it sonically, and lyrically it's reminiscing about this relationship after she moved out, and how he doesn't want anything to do with her anymore. It's energetic, it's snappy, it's sticky, just really a fun song. Check this one out too. The Letter is a soaring ballad with these beautiful guitar picks and light, almost tragically accented drum work. The 3.5 minute runtime kind of breezes by as the track plays on. It really feels like an experience to sit down and comprehend for yourself, as Shooter sings pretty powerfully about this letter he got, which, even though he says he can't disclose the contents, it seems to be some sort of breakup after his girl started seeing someone else. It's actually kind of dreadful to listen to, mainly in the latter moments with the strings and the piano. It's weirdly beautiful in its own pain. Good song. Southern Comfort features uncredited vocals from Faith Evans, Jesse Coulter, and CeCe White. Is probably my least favorite track on this record. Never been a big fan of longer country songs, personally, unless there's something pretty meaningful, and this one really isn't. Just a traditional guitar and Shooter's voice harnessing the signature country accent, pretty standard in the end. All the vocalists I mentioned only really contribute in the background. It's less than stellar, as this runtime could have benefited from full verses from them. Lyrically, it's just about returning to the South because it provides a comfort. While I do like the build-up 3/4 of the way through, the whole song just drags for me. I'll pass. Daddy's Farm, much like Bustin in Baylor County, is a lot more of a rough and tough track sonically, with almost metal-esque guitar playing and heavy drum pounds. Gotta love the touches of harmonica, bringing the song back stylistically with its country flavor. Shooter's vocals, however, change with the song. They're a lot grittier, almost angrier, to match the slower tempo of the track. What I'm not a fan of, though, is the outro with this phone call from Hank Williams Jr. that lasts for full 50 seconds at the end. Just takes up a little bit too much time, although I do get the sentiment. Despite that, I still think it's a fine song. I enjoy it. And finally, the closer, My Song For You, unsurprisingly is another ballad to finish off this album, and this one's also pretty solid. The synthesized keys don't really take away too much from this honest picture Shooter's trying to paint here, lyrically. A very poetic take on loving someone from afar, them not knowing how much you care deep down inside. The string accent in the background is touching, gentle, yet also pretty hopeful at the same time. It's a wonderful closer to an album of this sort, and I recommend checking this one out. Overall, this album may just be, to date, my favorite country album I've reviewed. It's unique, it's engaging, it's quirky. It's just such a damn good time all the way throughout. Not a perfect album in my opinion, but absolutely worth a listen. I'm feeling an 8.5 out of 10. Check this out. Well guys, hope you enjoyed that review. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.